trying to get the car home comfortably, get himself home comfortably in one piece. Usual business for a comfortable leader, and he is well equipped and well experienced to do that. So I would have to say that it's really only likely that something could go wrong with his car to take him out.
Now here is a sensational development, and this really is something. We have had unofficial news that the Brabham team and Nelson Piquet is in second position are likely to be protesting the Renault cars. The reason for that is that Renault have revised the bodywork at the back of the car, allegedly to prevent the exhaust pipes from overheating the rear tyres, but I understand that the Brabham team thinks that this affects the aerodynamics against the rules of the Renault cars, and if that is true, and I emphasise that that is totally unofficial, but if that is true, and we have it from a most authoritative source, there will be another one of these dreadful Formula One World Championship Grand Prix wrangles, and it could mean that if Alain Prost wins the race, he might lose that place, in which case he would lose his 9 points, in which case Nelson Piquet would be promoted to first position and would get the 9 points that Prost thought he had won. But all this is nevertheless hypothesis, albeit, I believe, very well informed and knowledgeable hypothesis. But there's Piquet second at the moment, Tourmaine in third position, and we now have another joker in the pack in the form of, is there going to be a protest from Brabham about the Renault cars, which we are told is going to happen irrespective of where or whether the Renaults finish, and they are currently in first and fourth places. Alain Prost leading, Cheever in second place, and I remind you that Keke Rosberg and Lafitte are 5th and 6th on lap 32 out of 41, so almost anything could happen, particularly as Patrick Tambay there is certainly not giving up. He has got Nelson Piquet in second place in front of him, and not very far in front of him, and Tambay can see what the challenge is. He knows what he's got to do. The question is, can he do it? There's Piquet. There is Tambay. We haven't seen Prost for a long time, but he is now about 27 seconds ahead of Nelson Piquet as the Brazilian. There is Prost. Over the line goes Alain Prost. Now, I've started my stopwatch, and I'll tell you what the gap is between the race leader, Alain Prost, in the Renault on lap 33 out of 41, and Nelson Piquet with Patrick Tambay right behind him as Prost comes up the incline at Kemmel into the right-hander at Les Combes in third gear, and as he goes there, Nelson Piquet goes past 23.7 seconds behind Prost and 3.4 seconds ahead of Patrick Tambay. There's the race leader, and Eddie Cheever is comfortably holding fourth position. He's not challenging Patrick Tambay at all. He's a long way now. He's some 16 seconds ahead of Keke Rosberg, who is fifth, and Keke Rosberg is some 20 seconds ahead of Jacques Lafitte. Rosberg has just passed me as you look at Alain Prost, and Rosberg's Ford V8 Cosworth engine sounds crisp, clean, and very sturdy indeed. So he's on his way. I'm waiting for Jacques Lafitte as Alain Prost goes through the right and the left on his way to Blanchimont, the lowest point of the course. That's the double apex right-hander. Jacques Lafitte is through in sixth position, and Lauda is very close now to Jacques Lafitte. You're not seeing this, I have seen it. Niki Lauda in seventh place is closing up with Jacques Lafitte. And Derek Warwick is still in 10th position. Nigel Mansell is in 15th place. John Watson, of course, is out of the race. And Nigel Mansell, as I tell you, is 15th, is missing. He's failed to pass us when we were expecting him to. And not failing, going well. Alain Prost goes over the grid, round the left-hander before the slowest corner on the course at La Source. First gear, 50 miles an hour. He's closing up on Michele Alboreto in the Tyrrell, who is in 11th position. Watch Alain Prost take Michele Alboreto, who signals to him, pass me on the left. Prost needs no second invitation. Absolutely blasts past with that tremendous horsepower advantage he's got.
It is interesting how the class drivers, and Alboreto certainly underlined himself as a class driver, how they always see the leaders coming and let them through. It's quite extraordinary, and yet the non-class drivers seem almost never to see them, or hardly ever. Anyway, that was good work by Alboreto, because there's absolutely no reason not to let him through. He has nobody around him that he's immediately racing with. He can afford to lose 50 yards on the road, which it would cost him to back off and wave Prost through, and now Prost can go through happily on his way. But it's all very straightforward for him at the moment. The battle is the Piquet-Tambay battle, and there you are. You see him just pull off the line. He had to lift a little to let him through, and all plain sailing. Nobody gets aggravated. Very nice stuff. And but back to Piquet-Tambay battle, are we? They're still on Alain Prost, who's still picking off the back markers. Well, they're not so far back actually at the moment. He's getting right amongst them.
The real interest in terms of possible place changes is the situation between Jacques Lafitte in 6th position and behind him Niki Lauda in 7th place in the Marlboro McLaren. There's 2.4 seconds behind them at the moment, but it looks to me as though Niki Lauda is not catching the Frenchman at all. As the Theodore goes out of the chicane, that will be either Guerrero or Johnny Ciccotta. I didn't see them closely enough to identify, but Alain Prost is coming up now to, and look at that. Now you see the whole of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, and you see why everybody who is here is so lyrical about it. Look at the countryside around it. You can see the gradient. The part of the course to the right is very, very much lower than the part to the left as you look at the picture. And you can see the La Source hairpin, first gear, 50 miles an hour at the bottom of your picture. You can see the climb up through Eau Rouge to Kemmel. You can see the right, left, right at Les Combes, or you could, as Nelson Piquet comes down in 2nd position. And I wonder if we're going to see how far behind him now. There is Patrick Tambay in 3rd position, and the gap between Piquet and Tambay, Piquet in the Brabham and Tambay in the Ferrari, is 3.2 seconds. And there, look at Tambay coming up to Les Combes, taking Alboreto, and Tambay now in 2nd position. Patrick Tambay is 2nd, and Piquet has dropped back. So, Prost leading, Piquet down to 3rd position, and there you see the gap between Tambay and Piquet. So Patrick Tambay is very much going extremely well, and Nelson Piquet is clearly in some sort of trouble. It won't be, I can't imagine, driver error. Piquet won't be tired because he's got a lot of experience of the distance that you have to drive over a Grand Prix. So something is amiss with the Brabham BMW, which could mean the tyres, could mean the engine, is unlikely to mean anything else. But for whatever reason, Patrick Tambay, certainly one of the men of the 1983 season who has been incredibly consistent, 5th in Brazil, went off at Long Beach when he was nudged in the lead by Keke Rosberg, 4th in France, he won at San Marino, and that is the McLaren pit, and that must be Niki Lauda, it is. Niki Lauda in the pit, and that means to say that the battle, and Lauda is out. Niki Lauda, like his teammate, retires from the 1983 Belgian Grand Prix. His teammate John Watson already out, and here is the new lead, the new 2nd place man, Patrick Tambay, chasing the Renault of Alain Prost. And where is Nelson Piquet? Not even in sight. So is Cheever going to go up to 3rd? Is Rosberg going to go up to 4th? Is Lafitte going to go up to 5th? And currently, Giacomelli and Warwick are right behind Lafitte, so we could see a Toleman getting its first ever World Championship point, and it would be Bruno Giacomelli if he and Warwick maintain stations at the present as they